Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, all about Japanese. And that might come as a shock to a lot of you because predominantly I talk about English. But today is all about Japanese. So strap yourself in and enjoy the ride of me trying to talk about Japanese Pokemon cards. Before we do, question for everyone down below: what's a local band you've been getting into lately? Summer's hit here in Australia. It's getting hot. I've been listening to a local band. They're from the complete opposite side of the country to me, a very, very long way away because Australia is pretty damn big. But I've been listening to Sly Withers lately. Cool sort of, I suppose, indie punk sort of Australian band. Really good to listen to. The reason I just wanted to give them a shout out, who knows if anyone's even going to click on it and listen to them, but give them a go. They've been on Triple J's Like a Version, if you're Australian, which is where we showcase some local artists and international artists singing covers for other people. So they've been on that. But anyway, the reason I wanted to showcase them is just that, and I'm delving away from Pokemon cards, so bear with me for 30 or 45 seconds. I've never been a creative person. I've always been somewhat sporty, and I'd like to think I know how to sell something, but I've never been a creative person. So this whole YouTube thing's completely new to me. And it's not sort of without the support of other people that you feel like you might actually be half decent at doing something. So I thought I'd give a shout out to Sly Withers, cool band. Get around them, give them a listen. I don't know them. I don't know them personally, but hey, it's that support locally for creators and musicians and, I don't know, potential YouTube wannabes like myself. So anyway, with that aside, let's jump into Japanese Pokemon cards. So if you don't know heaps about Japanese Pokemon cards, there's an interesting dichotomy going on at the moment. That's a big word for me. And that is this massive discrepancy between the recommended retail price of Japanese booster boxes and the actual selling price of Japanese booster boxes. And it's quite frustrating. And it's not only Pokemon cards that it happens in. It's happened quite heavily in some hard to reach motor cars as well, coming from the motor industry. Like the new Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series in Japan has a ban that if you buy one, you can't resell it inside a 12-month period. To stop, you know what? People scalping them. And look, it happened here as well. Not so much with Land Cruiser 300 series, but at the end of Land Cruiser 200 series, people were buying like a Sahara for 130 grand and reselling it for 160 straight off the bat, making a quick 20, 25, 30K. So, you know, to translate that into Pokemon card world, that's exactly what's happening. And that's one of the things that frustrates me about Japanese Pokemon cards. And, you know, I guess personally, I can be frustrated all I want. It's not going to change the situation. Or you might be frustrated all you want. It's not going to change the situation. But long story short, if you don't know much about it, typically a standard Japanese Pokemon card set, not a high class set, will be somewhere between 54 and 5,800 yen, which is about 40 to 45 US dollars if my conversion's somewhere correct. I'm sure the exchange rate changes from time to time. So when Pokemon 151 or Japanese 151 come out, that was supposed to be around 5,800 yen, which is about 45 US dollars. And we all know that straight away, you can't get them. Like, it's impossible to get them for that price. For example, straight off the bat, at pre-launch, pre-release, they were selling for $1,800 a case. And if you know Japanese 151, it's 12 booster boxes per case, which $1,800, it's very easy to do the maths on that. 1,800 divided by 12 is $150 a box. So straight away, you've got this massive, massive discrepancy of roughly 45 US dollars retail versus 150 US dollars sale price. So 3 times plus recommended retail price. Now, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow. And you can go, well, okay, well, that's just what the market thinks it's worth, so that's it. And the only way to really get something at retail price is to go into those Japanese Pokemon Center draws and, you know, apply for the lottery to get something at retail price, which is damn hard. Now, moving along though, the next set that's coming out, and this is the first high-class set for Scarlet and Violet era, which we should see maybe at the end of the year, maybe, possibly the start of next year. I'm not an information center, so I'm more on the Pokemon investing side. So I'm not here to spit out facts and go, oh, Pokeodds said this, so it's truth. No, I'm not a fact center. But it should be end of this year, early next year is Shiny Treasure. And I suppose we've seen a couple of sneaky little leaks, possibly from Shiny Treasure. And it could also have an English equivalent, maybe releasing at the same time, which is rare because we've also seen some English leaks of some cards that I'll put up on the screen here now, which is the Charizard and the Mew. And again, I'm not an information center, but this might be called Paldea Fates. I suppose we've had Hidden Fates from Sun and Moon era, or we've had Shining Fates from... There's the two actually side by side. We've had Shining Fates from Sword and Shield era and Paldea Fates. I don't know, the name doesn't sound fantastic. It doesn't sort of roll off the tongue like Hidden Fates or Shining Fates, Paldea Fates. I don't know, is that going to be the name? I'm not 100% sure, possibly. But anyway, we've got our first high-class Japanese set coming out. And you can already pre-order these, which I suppose we're not going to see for a little while, but you can already pre-order them. And I've had a squiz through a fair few places, and this is in Australian dollars, but the cheapest I can seem to find it is somewhere similar to V-Star Universe's price, which is like 160 Australian dollars, which convert that to US, I think you're going to be sitting somewhere around 95, 100, 90 to 100, somewhere around there. Anyway, long story short, a high-class set normally has a slightly higher recommended retail price. I think it's somewhere around about 6,000 yen, which might be high 40s, 48 US dollars or 50 US dollars. But anyway, once again, another set's come out and it's above recommended retail price by a long shot, over double. So again, you could go in the Japanese Pokemon Center lottery and get yourself something at recommended retail price, printed to demand, as they say. Or you could do what the rest of us have to do if we want to enter the Japanese market and buy on the secondary market. Already, we're seeing Pokemon 151 prices here in Australia pushing $300. Like, it was only 4 weeks ago that I was buying boxes at $235, and now I can't get one for under $270. So, $35 in a matter of weeks. Is there going to be another print run come out, and are we going to be able to see them cheaper again? I'm not 100% sure. But back to the crux of this whole video, sorry for going around in a few circles in this one. When it comes to investing in Japanese sets, it's a hard pill to swallow that unless you get something from that Japanese lottery, so to speak, at retail, you're generally going to have to pay secondary prices for something which is heavily, heavily inflated. Now, that's not to say you can't make money. I mean, if you bought an EV Heroes booster box, you're laughing. What are they going for now? 400, 500 US? I don't know. 350? I don't know. Somewhere. I don't keep a huge eye on it. 350 to 500 US probably they're going for. So anyway, that is a rapid rise still, even if you've bought in at 120 or 150 US. It's still made some massive gains. So I guess when it comes to investing in Japanese, you need to ask yourself, unless you're lucky enough to get something at that retail price, more often than not, you're going to have to pay that inflated secondary price. And is that where you want to start? Because when you buy in, when you're investing something, that's where you start. If it's almost like buying a share that's had a massive amount of growth and then expecting it or wanting it to get more growth, which is likely, but you feel sort of stitched up. You're like, well, okay, 6 months ago, this share was $20 and it's risen really quickly to $50, and all the data and indications suggest that it's going to continue up from $50. But I'm buying in at $50. I feel like I missed the boat and I should have got it at $20. That's a similar sort of pill you need to swallow when it comes to investing in Japanese. Now, I'm okay with that if it's a good set. And I think from all accounts, you know, the sets that we've seen, the last high-class Japanese set, which was V-Star Universe, was an absolute belter. Sets like EV Heroes has been super successful. I think Pokemon 151, Japanese 151, has brought so many people back to the hobby. There's so much hype and nostalgia around that set. Even the way the box looks with that little artwork, all the little 151 Pokemon running through the background, like, I just can't see this set not being successful. So I don't think it's a bad thing to buy into it. But then you've got sets like, let's rewind back in time to nearly the start of Sword and Shield, things like Electrifying Tackle, which had the Rainbow Pikachu, which mostly that set translated to English as Vivid Voltage. Like, it's still pretty stagnant. And if you've bought in at that higher price, then you've really been sitting on something for 3 years and made next to nothing. So I think you need to be somewhat cautious when it comes to your entry point price and where you're buying in at, because if something's already done a lot of moving upwards, even from this inflated secondary market position, it's still going to take some time to start moving upwards some more. Like, someone's got to want to pay 2, 3, 4 times more for that box in a period of time, and you need to, I suppose, choose that period of time of how long you want to sit in the market before you move it on and make your money. Because like I was saying, Electrifying Tackle, still pretty much at the price you could buy it for, and it does have Rainbow Pikachu inside there, and it is an old 3-year-old plus set now. Well, I suppose that's my take on Japanese Pokemon card investing, something a little bit new. I'm excited for Shiny Treasure. I think that'll be an amazing set. First Scarlet and Violet high class set. Keep an eye on that one. I'm excited for Paldea Fates, if that's what it's going to be called. Those chase cards look like they're going to be absolute bangers. Shiny Pokemon always seem to be good news, especially when we roll back to some of the original 151, and I'm sure we'll get some of the Paldea Pokemon rolled into there too, like we did with Shining Fates. We got that previous region's Pokemon mixed into it. Anyway, there we go. Japanese Pokemon investing. Be cautious with it, but it can also be incredibly, incredibly fruitful. I'm Michael. This is PokeOz. Thanks for watching.